And we're live. Hello, hello.
And alone.
No, look at that. We already have 23 people waiting.
Sorry, I saw.
We are not alone.
I saw that down there and was like, oh, we're by ourselves.
Hello, everyone. I've got a good old chin going here.
Well, the camera's low. Everybody forgive our bad angle. You can tell he's not a woman, right? Women know not to put the camera that low.
Well, here, I'll build it up.
Oh, he's going to build it up. Like 25 of you who are here, you get to see the early silliness.
And everyone who watches it after that.
There we go.
That's much better.
There
yeah. Turn that down a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Hello.
So here we are.
Hi, everyone. Hope you watched the video today. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Did everybody
watch the video that's here?
Watch the chat.
Give us a yes.
Hello, Joanne. You're first.
Hello, Mary.
Is that Mary?
Yeah.
Hello.
Perfect.
I'm glad you guys are all here.
There they are. Awesome friends.
So you wanna kind of answer some questions I know we're gonna have. I've already lost my voice.
Well, you sounded like he's getting sick for 2 days.
I know.
And I'm worried. I thought maybe it was the COVID again, but he doesn't sound like he didn't feel like he's got the COVID. So I think it's just the heat.
Just the.
So yes, we have gotten. I don't know how many messages we've gotten today on Instagram.
I know. I can remember a few questions.
Okay,
go ahead and go over those. A lot of people want to know about the layout of Hope Farm, and I know it's kind of hard to tell. But there are basically two buildings, and they are not connected other than exterior stairs. I guess and they're right next to each other. There's a little walkway between. So it's an L. There's a main house, and then there's an L on the other side. And the main house is where the first room was built. It was a one room, as far as we can tell.
The front parlor, the formal parlor,
was
the original structure.
Structure by
about 10 years.
I can never remember his name.
Carlos.
I
didn't know whose name we were looking for.
What is his name?
Carlos de Grand Prix. That is
the first, the
Spanish governor of Mississippi. Actually, he was French Canadian, but he was a governor of the Mississippi Territory when it was in possession of Spain. So that's really cool.
So we need to learn a lot more about him.
Yes,
we hope to. I don't know if there's information.
We'll all be learning together. There is. I'm researching it.
Good.
There is.
There is.
Let's see. Oh, and thank you for all the anniversary wishes. That's so sweet. I'm going to answer a couple of these really quickly before we roll up. Yes, we're still doing the stewardship of Auburn. One of the things that is amazing about Hope Farm is Auburn sits. Let's all pretend Auburn sits here. Then there's a whole bunch of forest, and Hope Farm sits here. So they literally are next door neighbors. So we'll be living next to work, but not living in work, which we discovered really quickly we didn't want to do.
There's about 15, 20 acres right there between the two. And that's one of the questions. Hope Farm has about 9 acres that we are purchasing.
Boys.
I know.
Poor baby.
I know.
Yes, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sorry, you do all the talking.
No, it has about 9 acres around her. There's only about 4 acres right now that are cleared. So we're going to clear a little bit more just so we have a little more space for all these crazy animals that live with us. But we will be leaving a lot of it wooded because I love my deer and my raccoon and my possum and my pheasants and all the things that live in those woods. Kate wants to know if we will be living in Natchez while we do the restoration. Yes, we're not selling Scotty probably ever. My parents live 2 blocks away. Kevin's parents live up the hill. My sister lives spitting distance from the front porch. So we'll still be not bi-coastal, bi-statal. But we will predominantly be living there in Natchez. We have decided, should we tell them about that?
Well, at this point, we are considering.
Yes, we're considering.
We're considering taking Pearl off the market and living in. We're living in Pearl when we're there now, and just living there while we get things prepared. Now, the other thing that we didn't tell you is Hope Farm has a little cottage.
Somebody said it's a cabin. It's slightly better than a cabin, although not right now.
But now. It is bad. We'll show you in future videos. What it looks like.
I'm a little nauseated just thinking
about it
right now.
Don't eat any time around.
No,
thinking
watching
about
that video.
house.
Do not be consuming food.
But it will be extremely cute and probably just take us a few months to get there.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of, the plan is to get it ready and then move into the cottage while construction's going
We
on
do have
at Hope Farm.
many animals. And so our thought process was, do we want to try, can we retain our sanity living in that small cottage with all of our animals? Even though we'll have all the land, it might be tight. So we're considering just taking Pearl off the market. You know, it's about to real estate season slowing down. So it's not like we don't feel like we're going to lose much, and then put her back on the market next spring when we will have the cottage habitable for sure, and then possibly part of Hope Farm.
Right. And so there, you know, there's, like we said, there's the main house and it's a one level. There is a lot of storage and other things underneath that section. And then there's the L, and it's 2-story. And the bottom story of the L was basically undamaged other than the water intrusion that you get from firefighting. And that's caused a lot of problems because otherwise it looked pristine when we went in there the first time, but it is it's becoming a big problem now. And it's getting rained in because, as you can see from the video, there are massive
And we would love to
holes.
have purchased it immediately when we started the conversation, but it had to go through probate, and you have to respect that. You know, we can't get it out of probate. So it came out of probate on July the 14th, and we closed July the 14th. We closed as quickly as we could, and we'll be getting down there and getting started. Trista says we need to put a granny apple somewhere on the farm. Absolutely. There will be granny apple trees.
I love that idea. I love those apples too.
But we've actually do plan to actually have some farm things there at Hope Farm. Not a ton, obviously.
Lori wants to know, is Bones going? Yes, Bones will go wherever we go.
I love that cat.
I know, she loves that cat.
It's ridiculous. I've never
We
lived a
still
cat
have
in my
not
life.
mixed Bones with all of the dogs.
Everybody's
so.
okay with Bones except for Stanley, and Stanley, it wouldn't take much for
the
Stanley.
little dogs don't.
They're not going to hurt him.
No,
I mean, they're way
but
less than he does.
They would be in trouble if they messed with it. But
Southern Man wants to know, will we sell after the restoration? No, this is going to be our retirement.
Not the
home.
plan.
We have been looking for, we kind of alluded to this on Instagram. We've been looking in Natchez for a retirement home for a couple of years now. And we thought there was going to be an opportunity to buy our favorite house in Natchez, but it has lots and lots of heirs. And some of the heirs are amenable to selling, and then a couple of them aren't. And so that may be it may be 30 more years before that house is available. There are 2 other properties that sort of checked all of our boxes, but both of them, like, we love the Shields townhouse with our whole hearts, but we need green space for our dogs. And no matter, the only solution there was to tear up the courtyard, but we love the courtyard. So it just wasn't right. Ruthland is amazing. It's so beautiful and we loved it, but it just, you know, you walk into a house, and for us anyway, we walk in and we're like, this is our house. Or we walk in and we say, this is a beautiful home, but it's just not speaking to us personally. And I think that's kind of how we felt in Ruthland. Like, it's so beautiful and we both love it and the land is gorgeous, but neither of us were like, this is it. We want to buy this one. And both of us went to Hope Farm and we're like, this is our home.
Because land was a must. And we also always wanted a courtyard. And the L creates this beautiful courtyard.
Yeah.
Also, it has amazing trees that we are so in love with.
It's very important.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't wait to show you. You saw a couple of them in the video.
David wants to know, David McCallop, yes. Did I misunderstand that you were going to do something with Auburn Plantation? First of all, let me correct you. Auburn was never a plantation, ever. It has always been a suburban villa. It did have 220 acres, but it was a city house. It would have had sustainable farming on it, which means because it was right outside the city limits of Natchez, they would not have wanted to get in the buggy and wagon and go every day into town to buy meat and dairy or whatever. So they would have had probably a small dairy farm, chickens, a small potager, kitchen garden, but it was never a plantation. But you did not misunderstand. We are the conservators, the new conservators of Auburn. So these projects are kind of going hand in hand. Auburn is a city-owned property. It will always be a city-owned property. We just have a lease on it. So I've made a 501c3, and we will be undertaking the registration. Oh my goodness, I'm so hot and tired. The restoration of Auburn, more in the way that you see a house museum being done. It will be open to the public. You can come and look. You can come and participate. We will have events. It's an event center, museum exhibits. And by event center, I don't mean weddings. So if anybody from Natchez is watching, nobody panic. We will have concerts and museum exhibits and lectures. But it is not a place for us to live full time and retire. So that's what Hope Farm is for us. It is a private home.
Auburn is work. Hope Farm is our home.
Sorry, I'm trying to read these at the same time.
Somebody said don't be afraid to downsize. They moved to 1,200 square feet. The cottage is more like 500 square feet.
I think it's 500 square feet.
It's not big. It may be less than that. I don't know. I mean, it's
when we move
small.
into Hope Farm, our actual square foot living space will be less than we have here at Scotty, which is fine. We're not afraid of that at all. We don't use what we have here at Scotty. But when we say the cottage is small, we mean it's the size of Kevin's apartment when we first got married. And
I think it's smaller than that.
It may be.
Yeah.
It's tiny,
It's
which
really
is fine. That would be totally fine if it was just Kevin and I, or even Kevin and I and like 2 or 3 dogs. But we have 8.
It basically, it doesn't have a bedroom and a living room. It has.
Does it not?
No.
Yeah, it does.
It has a bedroom.
It has a living room.
You walk in.
No,
it's bedroom.
There's a living room.
No.
Is there not?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to trust him because I have been.
You walk into the bedroom / living room. There's a bathroom on the left, a closet on the other side, and then kitchen on the right.
Yes,
That's it.
yes. Don't worry, Dwight says we need more pictures of Hope Farm. There will be so much coming. Don't worry. Probably we're going to try to do a video. Our tentative plan is a Hope Farm video a week and a real estate video a week, an architectural history video a week. But everything is, when we say this is new, this is so new, and everything is up in the air.
As with all of our plans, it is subject to change.
Yes, and that is something you need to realize. We're real people. There's 2 of us. This is not a television production. We don't have a crew working behind us. We're often just flying by the seat of our pants, and you're going with us. Somebody asked how my eye's doing. Okay, so can you? You can't see. It looks like it's all better. Do you see this lump?
A little scar.
I do. I have a scar. It's healed up, but I do have a scar.
I was going to apologize for the bad dogs, but I shut them in the bedroom, and they're actually not destroying the house. So I do have the water bottle of justice that we spray them with when they're bad, which is 100 times a day.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, that's our discipline method, which is actually recommended by trainers, so it's okay.
Yes.
Kate wants to know what room I'm most excited about at Hope Farm.
What room are you most excited about? Man,
that's hard.
That is hard. I'm almost as excited about the gallery. Aren't you excited about the gallery?
The porches.
Yeah.
The level of excitement that we have about the exterior living spaces in this house is.
It's crazy.
One of the things that we really were looking for in a forever home. It's kind of one of the reasons that Roofland didn't work for us. They had enclosed their back gallery. It was a beautiful room, a beautiful living room, but we wanted a back gallery. And, you don't undo a beautiful room to make a porch. So, the galleries, I would say.
Yeah, aren't you excited about it?
Yes.
So we could go over kind of our next steps. You want to go over those at all?
Well, I feel like there are so many questions here, and I don't want to miss them.
Okay.
These kind of help. What do we anticipate the timeline for Hope Farm?
Or in what stages are you planning? Well, there's the question right there. Timeline, we're kind of hoping 1.5 years, 2 years for full completion, maybe. But basically, the plan is we've got to get a new roof structure on Hope Farm, and we've got to get it in the dry.
Yeah. Before we can do that, there's a lot of demo that still needs to be done.
We've got to do a ton of demo before we can even do that. You're right. But there are salvageable floors everywhere. And so those floors are getting rained on. And so it's a race against time, really, to get everything cleaned up, demoed out, and then put a new roof structure on. So the first steps are those, to demo, and there's a lot of demo to do.
Especially in the L. There is a lot to do in the main house, but there is a whole lot to do
in the upstairs of the L. And really the downstairs, because we're not going to be able to save the plaster because it's
the water,
taking too much water.
If you all have watched us long enough and you've watched old videos or you follow us on Instagram, I will tell you all the time, the one one enemy of plaster, and it is literally the one enemy of plaster is water. And the amount of water they had to put on that house to get the fire out, the fire restarted 3 times. So they just had to keep saturating it with water. So most of that plaster is going to have to come out.
But we do think that a ton of the trim, a ton of the doors, a lot of the floors, the foundation is all in great shape.
That's about to roll off. Sorry.
Well, you can move them,
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Well, we always do.
Look, it's been not that much. Vanessa's question was the one that was no, look at him being awesome.
What? I don't know. Here, drive it.
Okay. I didn't know. You keep talking.
Okay.
Right there.
What was I talking about? Who knows? The floors. The floors are this beautiful cypress, and they are in fantastic shape still, and we're really hoping that we can save those. That would be a big deal. Much of the structure is there. Most of the studs are in great shape. A lot of the trim is still there. We will have to replicate some of it and some of the doors, especially in the back, and of course the top of the L. And then the porches have to be rebuilt. And then the roofing structure. I'm making myself scared by all the things. But the house is 65% built.
I think you made it sound a lot worse than it is. Basically, the structural engineer came in and said from the attic up has to go. And that's not so basic. So truthfully, we need to shave the top off of it and put a new top back on. And I told the newspaper called to do an article yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, are you freaking out over the fact you have to do a new roof structure?" And I said, honestly, if you gave me a choice, do you want to do a new roof structure or do you want to do a new foundation? I would rather do a new roof structure any day of the week than a new foundation, because you can build up far more easily than you can crawl under and fix what's underneath. So it is an overwhelming amount of work, but I don't necessarily feel overwhelmed by it. I know that we can do it. It's just going to have to be, we are going to have to pace ourselves and our expectations on where we're going, where we want to be, how quickly we want to get there.
And also, we're not installing trusses. We'll have someone do that. So that is not a DIY project.
We do a lot of why, but not that. So, I do not want to be a widow.
Yeah,
just yet.
Once that's done, and we've got our same roofer guy coming down to do the new roof, it becomes a largely cosmetic, and it's the kind of stuff that we do regularly. I'll do this, I'll show my dog.
You're getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Vanessa wants to know where any of the furnishing salvage. So yes, one of the great things that happened, after the fire is the Historic Natchez Foundation swooped in immediately. The rest of Miss Ethel's family, Ruth that you met in the video, and then her son Jim, and she has 2 other children, they live way out of state. They live across the country. And so the Historic Natchez Foundation swooped in and cleaned out the house, in the main house immediately, and then everything that was in the bottom level of the L. And there is a lot that was salvaged. There is a lot that was saved. Now, some of it's going to need to be, everything will need to be reupholstered. That's upholstery, obviously. A lot of it will need to be refinished, but it's definitely, it still exists. So there is still that.
And Andrew wanted to know, was Hope Farm also a guest house previously? Yes. Granny Apple had guests that she would put, and they stay in upstairs of the L. There are 3 guest rooms up there.
Yeah.
So eventually, I do think that we are going to offer that as a bed and breakfast.
Yes, we've never done that before.
I know, we've never done that. And so again, that's subject to change. Asterisk. The cottage and the 3 bedrooms are a possibility that we're talking about, making that a bed and breakfast. And you can come stay there after it's done.
Because there are people who have only ever stayed at Hope Farm, who come every year to Natchez. They love to visit Natchez, and Hope Farm was the place they stayed. So I think it's really important for us that people get that sense of continuity. Even our visitors get that sense. I like this question, Mary. Mary says, is it hard to navigate making an offer on an amazing property like that, taking into account the amount of damage, and were you worried to insult the family? We let the family tell us what they wanted. We had in our minds, this is our max dollar. This is as much as we can pay for the property in the condition that it's in. We based that off of land values in the area. And then we took into account some emotional value. And had kind of a max number, and then we just let the family come to us and say that this is what we need. And they were brilliant about they approached it very methodically. They had an appraisal done, survey. They just really approached it in the best possible way. There is no way to articulate how fortunate we are that it was the Banta family. Yes. Yeah. It could have, in so many ways, it could have gone a different direction. If this was a family who wanted to get as much money out of it, there were developers who would have killed to buy that acreage to put a subdivision, knock down the house, put a subdivision. So we're so fortunate that they have been glorious to work with.
Yeah, they want to know the rooms. So I'll walk you through the layout a little bit. The main house, you walk in, there actually are 3 doors on the front porch, a massive front porch. What is it?
3 or 4? It's either 60 or 70 feet. Remember, we got confused and we measured it and we were like, oh, she's at 40.
65 or
okay, so right in between, 60 and 70.
65, I think. Yeah. Feet long, and then, like 12, 15 feet.
And one of the reasons we're struggling with this is because after the fire, they all got boarded up. All the doors got boarded up. So even we have not yet seen it with everything open.
Right. And we actually purchased it while we were here in Arkansas and haven't been there since.
Yes.
We purchased it. So
I
know. But there are 3 doors. The main door in the middle opens into the main house that was actually the original structure built in, we think 1775. Some people think as early as 1775.
Some people think a little bit later. Some people think around 1780 or 90, which is fine. At that point, we're splitting hairs, and we would love to.
But we love that it's a year before there was the United States.
Yeah, well, a year before the Declaration of Independence. Right. We would love to do dendrochronology, but it's poplar, and to do accurate dendrochronology, you have to have a huge library of the species to sample from that you can compare to, and poplar there's not a huge library, so we don't know that will be able to do that. Sorry, go ahead.
So there is
I apologize.
A huge main living area and then a huge dining room right next to it. There's a little space on the right side that has been broken up into different things. Kind of had a guest bedroom, which was very small, a little half bath, things like that. Behind the dining room is the kitchen, and it's enormous as well. And then behind the whole wrap around the back of the house was sitting room, bedroom, bathroom, closet, and then it kind of wound around to the front. So we're going to make that our living space, and we're going to have 1 bedroom in the main house, which we live with here basically. So it will have, and then the porch, of course, is on that, and then another, it's a large gallery in the back. Then the L has 4 rooms in the bottom.
Yes.
And they were like a Williamsburg room.
Or 3 rooms.
I think
there's the Williamsburg room, the little bathroom, the bedroom, and then the kitchen. So I guess the little bathroom would count as a room.
Count as a room, I guess. Yeah. And there's a little hallway in between those.
It's like a breezeway.
Right. And steps that go up to the 2nd floor, and then there were
4 rooms.
4 rooms up there. One of those we're going to make an office studio. And then there will be 3 guest rooms, and they all open onto the gallery. So you'll go up the stairs, you go onto the gallery, and then go into the room.
Very European style living. I love it.
I know. Love it. We really, really love it. And then, of course, the cottage is about 30, 40, 50 feet to the whatever direction that is. East, maybe?
I have no idea. I still haven't figured out where I am in Natchez. It's so weird.
It is really kind of in the middle of town. It's not downtown. It's a little further out than that, but the location is just amazing. And of course, like we said, it's right there by Auburn. So
can you explain what you mean by the L? We're not saying L like the letter. No, it's not. It's not L like the letter. It's actually EL.
Elevated?
No, that's just what it's called. And it is.
I thought it was L like the letter.
It is. It does make the letter L, but an L is an architectural term. It's just it's another building next to this building, like this. This is the L, and it's so. One of the things I love about it is it's very Mediterranean style living. I've always loved homes in Morocco, especially that are a square house with a courtyard in the center, and all of the rooms exit onto the courtyard. And to go anywhere, you have to go outside to the next room, and that's like with this house. There's some of that, and I love it. Will we be able to purchase the furniture back? No, it has been donated to the Historical Society, which is great.
Thanks again to the Banta family.
Yes,
for that.
that is wonderful. There may be an opportunity for us to have some on permanent loan. We don't know. We haven't even, I love to shop for antiques. That's one of the great joys of my life. So we haven't even really discussed any of that. That's so far down the road.
Of course, we have so many. She's booking her
Good.
stay today.
Start making reservations 2.5 years in advance. Somebody asked about Arlington. I'm not sure. That's a different property. Oh, there it is. I know Arlington and Natchez also suffered a fire. Do we know the status of that antebellum home? Yes, that is a situation where there is an owner who basically got into a huff with the city over the condition of his property, and due to their conflict, he will absolutely not sell it. He will not let the city buy it and restore it. He will not do anything to it. And so until he shuffles off his mortal coil, nothing will happen at Arlington. It's very sad. Are we going to source salvage? Probably not. Only because of the age of Hope Farm. Not a lot of 18th century salvage laying around, even in great salvage yards. So probably the doors that are burned, the moldings that were lost, we will have to have replicated by a master carpenter there in Natchez. I thought maybe you'd answer one now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been reading some. I mean, we've had questions on, how much did we pay? We're not going to really talk money on this property since this is our house.
Or any property.
Well, we probably have in the past. I don't know. We don't talk money a whole lot other than we don't do things that don't make financial sense.
Yeah.
We don't get into properties that we were going to be upside down in ever. If we don't have equity when we're done, we don't do it.
Yeah. We must have access to many photos. We do. So many photos. And again, the Banta family, who we've just decided we're now related to.
Are we
somehow.
Bantas?
We're
honorary Bantas.
Honorary Bantas. They have sent us videos. They've done videos of every single room. So we have so much documentation of the house and what it looked like, and so we know what needs to go where, which is fantastic. Obviously, you don't always get that in a situation like this.
Someone watching us from Japan. Hello, Jesse.
Hello, Jesse.
How cool
my
is that?
Goodness. Oh, my heavens. Thank you for being here.
That's very cool.
Let's see. Parking is something to consider. There's plenty of parking. Don't worry. There's already a huge parking lot. Will we have started on Hope Farm before the weekend in August? Technically, it's already been started on, but what you will see when you get there is still very much a burned house. There is still, again, so much demo to do, Vanessa, that it will not look like it looks in the video that you saw today, but it's not going to look a whole lot different. I was hilariously hoping that we would be able to close earlier and we might be able to get some roof structure going up, but that's hilarious.
Oh, that's going to take a while just to place all that. Elisa says, off topic, but I'm beautiful.
Well, yeah, he is. I know.
I think she's talking about you.
Oh, I think he's beautiful. Silly question. Has anyone ever gone over the property with a metal detector? Yes. And it's not a silly question at all. Are you kidding? That's I cannot wait to get out there and start with my little raccoon hands digging in the dirt to see what I can find. But
Right.
Jim, the son, Jim Banta, has his degree in archaeology. So he and I, when he said that, I was like, tell me more.
I want to live with you now.
Right? Please come and move in. But he has done a lot of excavating. He knows where a lot of different, there's sites from the 1930s and sites from the 1730s and 1850s. So he kind of knows where all those things are. So I can't wait to pick his brain more on I was actually thinking today, okay, because I am a little raccoon or a crow or a pack rat who loves I thought to myself, you can't dig up all the bottles from the 1930s and put them in the house. So you're going to have to control yourself a little bit, because what are you going to do?
We're going to start a bottle
with
retail
all
store.
the stuff that you're going to dig up out of the yard? So I'm already having these conversations.
All right, let's see.
I really don't really want to talk about how the fire started. Since there was loss of life, we're going to kind of leave that out of the conversation. No insult. That's a completely legitimate question, but we'd rather not talk about that. Yes, my baby in the background is
I'm having to pet constantly.
Pick him up.
I tried.
Oh, and they won't let you do
They
that?
wouldn't let me. yes, we plan to live there. I mean, right now the plan is Hope Farm will be where we retire.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's today's plan.
Can we save the walls that had peeling paint? The walls, yes. The plaster, no. Again, there was so much water
I
intrusion.
wonder if they're talking about when you were peeling the door.
Oh, that's a door. And
So
yes,
that was
absolutely.
another really interesting thing for, there are many things still there, many mantles. We did lose the top of a marble mantle, but I think we'll be able to replace
We'll
it.
be able to
save
replace
that.
that. There were some totally lost.
That you saw her peeling was the front door, right?
Yeah.
And basically, you could see that it had been painted over faux bois, and she was peeling that paint off. It's the fire kind of helped loosen us. We could see the faux bois.
Yes.
So things like that. We'll try to save what we can, and I really hope that we can get back down to the original. But the wood is there, so that's what's fantastic.
And it's fine. The paint protected it from the fire. That's what's amazing. And the fire helped us get the paint off, which is one of the worst parts of restoration is getting paint off of wood. We can also see that all the doors in the house, it appears, I'm going to have Carter with the Historic Natchez Foundation kind of confirm this with me, but it looks to me like the faux bois application on all of the exterior and interior doors was a golden oak, which we don't see a lot of in Natchez. It's mostly like mahogany faux bois. There are other species represented, but it looks to me like it's a golden oak, which I'm really excited about.
Somebody wants to know if we're going to sell Scotty or if we're going to keep Scotty. So this is kind of the plan. We're be living in Hope Farm most of the time, but we will keep Scotty. We will Airbnb Scotty when we're not here, but we'll also be here part-time.
Yeah.
All of our family is here. So, hey, you could Airbnb and Scotty if you wanted to come see this.
If you wanted to come to Conway and see this insanity. Let's see. There was another one that I wanted.
Anita's ready to come to work.
Hey, look, we'll take it. Sorry. I hate it when people are reading when they're looking at. When do we start the restoration? I would say it has started, but it's the not pretty part. It's the tearing out that has to happen before the putting back. So it started. It's just got a long.
The video that you saw today was mostly right after the fire. A week after the fire. Since then, it has actually been cleaned out way more. So there will be more for you to see immediately.
The structure is in much better condition than it looks like in the video you saw today. A lot of what you saw in the video today that was just like, it looked like the house was just laying in rubble. That was the ceiling structure that collapsed, and then some of the roof structure that fell through the ceiling. But
hey, Brett.
Stop!
Hey.
The ceiling structure is still solid, good. Oh, tell them about the burn rate. I found this fascinating. I didn't know this, but this is great.
The structural engineer was walking us through, and he was pointing out different things and talking about, the integrity of what was left. And he pointed out some rafters, and he was talking about the size of these beams. And of course, these are much denser than the wood that you buy today, and therefore stronger. But he said that there is I think it was called burn rate. Isn't that what it was?
Rate,
basically what it meant was, and correct me if you know better, that this timber could burn up to 6 hours and still maintain its strength.
I thought it was 2 hours.
Well, it depended on the size of the timber.
Sorry.
It may be 2 hours, but basically it burns the exterior of the wood and it chars, and it doesn't burn through the wood, it just chars the outside. Yeah. The interior of the wood is still strong enough to hold the structure, basically.
Yes. And so all of the structure that is inside the house, there is a little bit in the L that's gone. A little bit. And the ceiling structure in the second floor of the L is gone. But in the main house,
you still have your rafters for the most part.
For the most part, all of your ceiling structure is still there, and all of your joists. Now, there's some that I think we're probably going to want to sister in just to be sure. But the structural engineer again said attic up is what we're dealing with replacement on. So that is phenomenal. And somebody said that makes me feel better because it looked so bad. It does. It looked so bad. I will be completely honest with you. I'm the one who wanted to go look at it when we found out about the fire. And I told Kevin, let's go look and see what we think. Kevin said, absolutely not. We will not be taking on the
Well, I don't think you said that.
yes, you did. We're not doing this. It's too much. And we got there, and then I was thinking, oh, this is too much. And Kevin was like, I love this house. But then once I got it cleaned out, sorry, we have another dog that's got to be up in our business right now. Once I got it cleaned out, it was very obvious that it was doable. What kind of lighting fixtures? Dwight, we're so far from lighting fixtures. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Hannah wants to know if this is a huge project, have you considered hiring someone to film you and edit your videos? We are poor people. Especially since Pearl didn't sell.
And while we will be doing a ton of work, we will not be doing everything in this project.
Yes.
It's too big for two people to do.
John, my love, Phoenix Preservation right there. John Rogers looks like some of his windows survive. Right there. Some, not many. When I messaged you the other day, my friend, and said, hey, do you build
John,
windows?
Hey, John.
We're going to need a lot of windows made, a lot. Because you know what happens to the glass with the fire. And so we'll need several.
Where do you get your energy from? Do we have energy?
I don't know that we have any, honestly, truly right now. Yes, the chimneys survived. Masonry's in great shape. So that's all good. Yes.
But we're going to video everything. So don't worry about that.
Bug repellent would like cypress. So, okay, let's go through historic building materials in the South. Ready? Lessons with Laine. Up until 1800, the building wood that was used in Natchez, Mississippi was poplar. There was an abundance of poplar, so people were building with poplar. Then around 1800, they ran out. The structure of the main build, so that front room and some of its major structure is from poplar. Then from 1800 to about 1850, almost 1850 exactly, we switched to cypress. And so the rest of the house, the additions to the house were built up until about 1810, 1820. So those are cypress. So yes, good, dense bug repellent woods. And then they got a little bit charred, which I don't know how much you know about wood, but they're actually modern bug repelling techniques where they char the exterior
They're
of
starting
wood
to sell charred wood. Yeah.
keep bugs away. So last thing we're worried about right now is bugs. I can promise you that.
John says he's ready to head our way. John, we may give you some measurements first.
Come on.
Have you make us some windows and then come down?
This bad
Can
dog.
you please stop? You're going to get
No,
scared.
just pick him up, stand up and grab it so he'll quit. I swear.
We're back there now. Here.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Well, for sure. We do videos like he said. Marble fireplaces. So, yes, the fire was hot enough to turn. This one is so bad. This is Bean. He is a tension hog. To pulverize, to powderize some of the marble, but 2 of them can definitely be saved. One of them needs a little bit of work. One of them has a crack, but you know what? I think having that beautiful mantle in there that has a crack from a fire just says, look what happened to this house one time. Let's see.
Hi, Bean. Mediocre comedian says, hi, Bean. We don't take our dogs into restoration places that are like that. No, we had some at the latter stages of Pearl when it was clean enough for us to live in. But.
Megan wants to know, are we restoring to the build date or basing it off of pictures of how it looked when the Bantas owned it? So yes, both. So in the back portion of the house, I keep saying so, I hate that. I apologize.
So stop.
The previous owner, Catherine Grafton Miller, did a lot of rehabilitation work in the 1920s. And so there is some updating from the 1920s, which included like squeezing these bathrooms in kind of an odd way, just some odd wall maneuvering. So we will be taking the floor plan back to an original build date floor plan and then working what we need into that floor plan. But as far as the finishes, the door frames, the windows, the doors, all of that will be put back like it was. This dog, I wish you could see, there's a 13-year-old Australian Shepherd here begging for attention who is asleep 99% of the time. But right now,
but when we're on TV,
she wants to be on Mama's lap. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. I know we're kind of amazed that Pearl hasn't sold as well. But remember, Natchez is a very small town. It only has about 10,000 residents. So there's not a lot of need inside the town for people for homes. So we're really relying on people who are coming into town to buy. And so it just takes a little bit longer.
Someone asked if it would qualify for grants, or we'll be able to apply for tax credits.
Yeah, there are very few, we get that grant question a lot. There are very few grants that exist in the world of restoration for private structures. Grants are mostly limited to public structures, commercial buildings. Georgia is one of the few states that has a license plate that you can purchase for restoration, and those funds go to fund grants for private structures. So that's amazing, but there are none in Mississippi. There is a rebate that Mississippi does once you're done. And then there are federal and state income tax credits that we can apply for, but there's nothing up front to help us with the cost. We're just going to have to eat a lot of ramen noodles for the next 5 years. Oh, no, Bean has no shame. No shame.
We need you to all go watch all the videos.
Yes, what you can do, watch all the videos. Buy things from the sponsors.
Share the videos. Yes, buy things from the sponsors. I'm sorry we have to do that.
I know.
Hopefully you can fast forward through those.
Let's see. Your mother was born in Natchez. How fantastic! It's a wonderful city. Megan, or let's see, Meg. I'm just gonna go with Meg. The crazy neighbor has become less of a problem recently. I'm just gonna say that. We'll just leave it there. You'll notice I haven't been saying a lot about the crazy neighbor. I don't anticipate there will be any issue with Pearl's neighbor. Do you have listing for buildings of historical significance? Do you mean, is it on the register? It is on the register. Oh, somebody asked earlier, will we work with the Historical Society? And I wanted to answer it, and I missed that question. Will we work with the Historical Society on the restoration? Of course. We are very good friends with Carter Burns and Mimi Miller, who are the director and the director emeritus of the Historic Natchez Foundation. And they're more hands-on than any historic society I've ever seen in my entire life. I think it's because we have such an abundance of historic structures and it's a small town. So they could really be very, very hands-on. They're the ones who introduced us to the Banta family. They're the ones that we reached out to and said, hey, we'd like to purchase this property. So absolutely, we will be working closely with the Historic Society every step of the way. We are so fortunate to have that asset in Natchez. I cannot say enough about how fortunate we are, because I have been in other situations where either there is no asset or the asset is only concerned about, they're not concerned about the structure, and they're not concerned about working with people who are excited about restoring the structure. They're only concerned about like what is going to get them tax dollars or whatever. But it's an incredible organization run by amazing people, and we will be working very closely with them and with the Mississippi Department of Archives and Heritage. This is a really, really important property. I would say that's my biggest, like my stress. I don't know about you, but
is living up
the fact. Kevin looked at me this morning. It was so cute. Looked at me this morning and he goes, it's 250 years old. Like it just dawned on him.
That's old for America. I mean, that's northeast old.
Older than America. I think it sort of hit you for the first time. Like, oh man.
I know. I thought Auburn was old.
Yes. M. Dunn says we all need to help Laine and Kevin sell Pearl to help fund Hope Farm. Yes, please. Anyone. It is Meg. Okay, good.
Sacred Love Tarot says send everybody over to buy a shirt.
Yes, buy a t-shirt.
We are going to put the Restoring Hope t-shirt on the website, so you can all go buy one.
It sounded as if there may be an ideal buyer for Jamie. Is that still on the back burner? We wouldn't have talked about this had you not said it, because we hate having to backtrack when things don't work out like they're supposed to, right? Like this whole we're had to backtrack on the sale of Pearl has been the worst experience of my life. Well, not so true. But,
oh my gosh.
It was
what
bad.
A great life you've lived.
Right? If that's the worst thing, that was an overstatement. But as of right now, the people who approached us to buy Janie and Millie's property, to fix up Millie, to rent Janie out, and to build low cost housing on the property is still rolling forward. We will not be making money on that project, on that sale. I mean, obviously we're selling it for a price, but it's not a profitable sale because of the fact that they have exactly the same vision and are such good buyers to do what we really wanted to see done with that property. So we're very excited about that.
Yes, it was a very good handshake deal, or
Yes.
I don't know. It was
a good fit.
It was a good
Great
fit, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and it's ongoing.
Oh no, Joanne, we don't have listing grades. I wish. The UK has the most magnificent restoration system. Now I know they're a little more controlling in the UK than we are here in the United States, but I love that because you don't knock down your historic properties. We have a National Register of Historic Places, but that gives no protections whatsoever. That's a big misconception that people have. They think if you're on the register, the property is protected. That gives no protections. It's merely a designation. Where in the UK, if it's a grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, you have a lot that the government has a lot of involvement in what can be done, and it protects the property. I wish we had that here, but we don't. I saw you
Was I laughing?
laughing. I thought maybe you
Oh, I don't know what it was.
did the buyer renege on the purchase of Pearl? Yes. Day of closing. Sure did. Bought a house around the corner. Anyway. Thank you. Somebody said happy anniversary. We should be on a date night instead of doing this. This is date night right now. Last night, Kevin was like, I guess we're getting each other a house for our anniversary. I was like, pretty good gift.
We went to one of our favorite restaurants for lunch, so that was good.
Yes.
And we will go out again.
We will. Although I'm still really full from lunch. So I don't know.
Oh no, it was somebody that Nancy said that they drive around town and she quizzes her husband, is that a turret or a tower?
Love it.
I know.
Yes, Nancy.
I love it.
Let's see. Oh, I know. T. Lemon says they tore down 2 of the best houses in Sulphur, Oklahoma to build a Dollar Tree. It
Oh,
happens
my
all
God.
the time. Yes. Let's see.
Oh,
Oh,
met Mrs. Ethel.
Stayed at Hope
Hope
Farm. Was she not wonderful? I mean, just
She just seems like she's
wonderful.
amazing. Yeah, and we've got more video of her. We've got more video of the home before. So we've got a lot to show you still.
So do you have other things we don't have like any more questions to answer. Did you have other things you wanted to tell them that we haven't answered in our question?
No, I mean, I think the layout of the the and then
Bean. Y'all, this dog. I'm gonna get
at
it.
the water
I'm
bottle
gonna
of
get
justice.
it. You keep going. I'm
Okay.
gonna get it.
And then the plan of attack on how we are going to start on this property and what we're going to get done are the 2 things that I mostly wanted to address. And then the fact that this is going to be our house. We're not restoring this to sell, but
This is our forever home, which is really exciting.
It just is so beautiful there. It ticks all of our boxes, and we're.
Oh, somebody asked how much land. There are just at 9 acres.
But it also backs up to Auburn's, 6 or 7 acres.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Plan of attack is important. Yes. What happened to the mansion you were going to restore?
Yeah, I don't know
Judy,
what that means.
I think probably Auburn. You can, if you missed earlier in the video, we actually talk a lot about that. So you can, when this is over, we'll save it. You can watch it, go back and see the explanation.
Yeah, Auburn is more of where we work, and Hope Farm is where we live.
Somebody said, how hard is it to get builder's risk insurance? Not hard at all. It's a lot of money. It's very expensive, but insurance companies are happy to make money. That's heck yes, give us your money for builder's risk insurance. So
and you'll find that you have differences of it can be harder to get something insured in some places than others. Natchez, they are used to having a lot of historic homes under all of the conditions that they are in, and there are insurance companies that
I have to tell you this.
For
those of you who don't follow me
for
those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, because I talk a lot on there. We'd get to know each other really, really well if you all followed me on Instagram. So a lot of the homes in Natchez still have their asbestos shingle roofs, and asbestos shingle roofs are wonderful. If you can get one, get one. They're very fire resistant, and they last literally forever. So we bought Pearl, little over 2 years ago now. We've finished her up. We got insurance on her the first day we had her. Very reasonable insurance. It's very inexpensive. Great company. Love them. Like 3 weeks ago, we were staging Pearl, so it looked like there was a new family moving into her. And this old dude walks up the street and says to Kevin, "You're never going to be able to get insurance on this house." And of course, Kevin's response is like,
we
What?
we have insurance.
We
on
have
this house.
insurance
What are
on
you
this
talking
house.
about?
It's like, that asbestos roof, they're never going to insure it. And Kevin's like,
Well,
they
they did.
They
So,
did.
I don't know what you're talking about. Well, he had to tear off his asbestos roof, and put on a new roof before he could get
That's
insurance.
because you
So it's
didn't call the right
well,
company.
you
See,
should've
that's
call some more people.
it's
Maybe.
not our fault that you're stupid. You didn't know to call a bunch of companies to see if somebody would insure you without tearing off the
Need a
roof.
haircut.
So
So
yeah, sometimes it can be a challenge to get insurance on the properties, but you can always get some kind of insurance on a property. Bean is hilarious. He is out of control, y'all. He is out of control.
We're
Once
almost at
complete,
an hour. I guess.
okay. Leslie wants to know, once complete, will we open the house for tours? Probably during pilgrimage. So twice a year, there's a fall pilgrimage and a spring pilgrimage, and we will. I would imagine Hope Farm has been on pilgrimage. The founder of pilgrimage lived in this home.
Yes.
So it would be
has to
sacrilege not to put it on pilgrimage.
Yes.
Do we ever get sick from the smell
Well,
of
the
burnt
smell
homes?
is hard to take. That's for sure. Burnt homes. Yeah, it's definitely hard to take.
I am very sensitive to smells too, Judy. Like, very sensitive. Nothing makes me angrier than a weird smell. The smell of burnt doesn't make me sick. It's not one that bothers me like that, but it is difficult emotionally.
That's about to say. It's more like it's an emotional thing
Yeah.
because it represents destruction.
Yeah, and of course we lost Louise to that. So that's, we walked up to Hope Farm the first day that we went there, and that smell coming out of the house was a very powerful emotional memory. So that was kind of rough.
Absolutely. Sacred Love Tarot.
That's
Mary. Sure. Put links to our
Yes,
stuff anywhere you want.
absolutely, my
No,
friend.
we absolutely love it when you guys share our videos and stuff like that. And get more citizens in our nation.
Yes. T-shirts.
Yeah, and if you want to support us, go over to our website and join the citizens group.
It's $5 a month.
It's $5 a month, so it's not much money at all. We do have a podcast there and lots of extra videos and tips and tricks and stuff like that. And
Yes.
get Laine's book for free and all kinds of things. So go over there if you haven't done that.
Oh, Patty, we're so glad you're going to come. We're so glad you're going to come. Now, I don't know how many of you here.
Yeah, they may not know about the weekend. We need to tell them.
Yeah, you tell them. Go ahead.
August 11th and 12th, we are having a Restoring Hope weekend. And prior to today, not everyone knew exactly what Restoring Hope weekend meant.
Yes.
But now they do. Everybody in Natchez pretty much knew Hope Farm.
It was the worst kept secret.
Had burned,
in
yeah. But outside of Natchez, people might not be familiar with Hope Farm. So we are doing the Restoring Hope weekend, and it's going to include 4 house tours, also a tour of Auburn, and a preview of Hope Farm. So you can actually come on to Hope Farm and see the property. It's got a ghost tour. It's got a high tea. It's got a brunch. It's got a breakfast. And you can choose one or all of those things. There's a discount.
Well, you should say one or as many
As you like.
or the whole package.
Or the whole
Because
package.
it sounds like even though you said it's
You can only get 1 or 12.
or 12.
The 3 is right out. No, 4 is right out. Yes.
Sorry, that's one of our favorite
All
movies. It
you
always makes me
Monty
crazy.
Python fans say, yes, I got that. So the
Captain America, shall we?
let's do the whole bit now. It's on our website. Go to ourrestorationnation.com. There is
You
a
can
link
check it out.
for Restoring Hope Weekend. You can see all of the things available to go and do. There is a limit on the number of people we can have at brunch and some of the food events.
Yes.
And really, I mean, I don't know if we're going to have to put a cap on the house tours or not, because we're going to have 1 billion people. We've already got like 77 people coming, and we still have a month to go. So we would love to have you, because if you're watching this live, you are our kind of people.
Yes.
And we want you there, and we want to meet you.
There's a couple questions I wanted to answer.
Oh, no, sorry.
Will this be our only project till Hope Farm is done? Yes. There are merely 2 of us. Do you see the 2 people sitting here? This is the crew. We're going to have to find crew. Okay, now he wants down. Now he wants down, little stinker.
So I can go around and bark at daddy.
Yes, we'll have to, be finding a lot of people that we trust to do the work that we need done. But we physically and mentally cannot do more than 1 project at a time. So while we are hanging on to Helen and are not willing to part with her yet, she's got a new roof, she's got a new foundation, she's got a new hot water heater, she's safe, she's secure, she's locked up. We won't be working on her until Hope is finished.
Let's see. Oh,
Sorry.
Vanessa's coming.
Yay! Oh, yeah, Vanessa, hello.
We're going to meet you.
I think she's in my traveling solos. Are you in my traveling solos? I think you are, which is like the coolest thing ever.
Mary wants to know if anything was salvaged from Louise that can be incorporated into Hope, and I don't know that there is.
Probably not.
We took a great mantle out, but we gave that to part of the family. We gave that to Fable, and they put it in the house across the street.
Yes.
But otherwise, I mean, I think we still have a door, but I don't know if we could use it.
No,
but,
it's huge. That door is taller than the ceilings almost.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not. The eras are so,
and it's
the majority of Louise was 1880s. We did have some very, very early sections of her, but they were very primitive. And then the decorative parts were much later. And so since we're trying to be so historically accurate, they wouldn't fit, Mary. Isn't that sad? They wouldn't fit. Now, we are in Auburn going to have some architectural museum things. And so we may display some things there at times that are from Louise, but girl, so I've got literal plastic tubs full of Louise still in our storage building that I went back there the other day and just kind of dug through. And I was like, oh, look at this, and look at this, and look at this that we still have. So plenty of stuff.
Keely's coming, so we get to meet Keely. And also, if you are a member of the Citizens through the website, there are like 3 different things just for you. You are going to get to tour Pearl. Tour Pearl. Say that 3 times fast.
Tour Pearl.
Oh man, I can't do it. Anyway, you will be able to do that. So if you want to tour Pearl, then you should sign up.
Sweet Brittany said open bags of charcoal around the house and get the smell out.
Open bags of charcoal?
The whole house is a bag of charcoal right now.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched the video yet, bags of charcoal. This is way beyond bags of charcoal, unfortunately. I have another friend online. They have restored several homes. They restore several homes, and they have opened a restoration business, but it's different. It's like people who've had fires and floods, etc. And it's Larissa over at Old House Muse. And so I'm going to pack up the drapes. There are still some drapes in the house that were Miss Ethel's drapes that I'm going to send to them to see if they can get them clean so we can reuse them again, because they're beautiful draperies and I want to reuse them. So I'm hoping that we can get those clean. And then somebody else going to ask about China and crystal. That will really be up to the Historic Foundation, because they have those items. And so really it will be what are they willing to kind of put back on loan into the house.
Right. And also some of that may go into Auburn.
Yes. We've actually talked to Carter extensively. Miss Ethel had a beautiful collection of early kitchen items that Auburn also has a very early kitchen. And we think the best place to display some of those might be for public viewing. So we can say this was Catherine Grafton Miller's and Ethel Banta's, and it will be in a place that is open year round that people could come in and see them in their proper setting and be able to enjoy things that were so linked to these women who've been so important in Natchez.
Ozone treatment.
Ozone machine. Yeah, that's what they're going to do for the curtains. They actually have an ozone room, and they'll put them in this ozone room. Hopefully that we'll get that out and then launder them. So I'm so hopeful we can keep those.
Hi, Marie. Hi, Mark. They caught us live. I'm glad.
Guys.
I was also going to say the announcement of everything that we're having going on in the Restoring Hope weekend was a little bit elusive. Is that the right word? Because we hadn't yet announced Hope Farm.
Oh, yes.
Is that the right word?
Yes, I see what you're saying.
And so the Restoring Hope banquet will actually be at Hope Farm in the courtyard, which we haven't really said to anyone yet.
I think we should call it a celebration, because there is going to be food, but not like banquet food, not like sit-down banquet. It's going to be hors d'oeuvres and charcuterie, and we have 3 signature cocktails that we're doing that night that we just open bar, just a celebration. It's the official kickoff of the restoration. So it's the physical kickoff of the restoration, sort of celebrating hope, celebrating that this house isn't being lost to history, and just a party to enjoy. So if you come that weekend, if you don't come to anything else, come to that party.
Yes, Hope Farm and Auburn are neighbors next to each other.
I love that. I think the first thing you should do is plant a tree or rose bush for Miss Ethel.
Tell them what you do.
I wanted it to be a surprise.
Oh, well.
At the party.
Okay.
But we have something planned. And once that comes to fruition, we will share that with you. But that is a wonderful idea. And we have something sort of already in the works for that.
So somebody wanted to know about the grounds. there are beautiful, beautiful landscape, mature bushes, very mature trees, live oaks, magnolia trees, a lot of evergreen trees, which I love.
Yes.
So it's just beautiful.
great.
Laine and I love that
It's a
so
little
much.
overgrown. Miss Ethel was 89, and of course she was having other people maintain that for her, and that's just what happens. So it's a little grown up in a lot of areas, but we have such a beautiful
So much to
foundation
work
to
with,
start with.
right?
My sweet friend Lance,
What's up, Lance?
whom I love, Lance Justice, says, is Hope Farm the oldest home in the city, or is it just one of the oldest homes in the city? It is either the second or third oldest structure in the city of Natchez. I called Carter before we'd started this announcing process because I didn't want to get it wrong. Because, you know, there's so many people who are like, I've got the oldest, and not necessarily so. So I said, okay, Carter, what is the oldest property in Natchez? And he gave me one. He basically said, we think these two properties are like right at the same date, and then Hope Farm. So very, very
Do you remember
early.
what they are?
Richmond is one.
Richmond and Linden is
No,
one?
Linden was
It's
not
not
on the
Linden?
one.
What about
Shoot.
what's that other big
I'm
one
not going
downtown?
to. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to guess because
Tahada?
I'm not going to guess because I don't know, and I'm not going to
Oh,
lie.
sorry.
He's trying to make me a liar. I'm not going to do it. So I know Richmond was one, and something else which he thought were about the same time, and then Hope Farm. Very exciting.
Cynthia Berry, are we related?
Probably.
Hi, Cynthia.
Yes, for those in the chat, thank you, KH, for those in the chat. If you haven't hit that like thumbs up button, that does help us. It makes YouTube think that people are excited about this channel who want to be here. So we have 352 people watching and 131
look at that.
thumbs up. That is very helpful. It helps engagement. It helps YouTube know that people care.
I think that's a high. It's a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
Hi, everybody. And we're just...
Yes, Miss Ethel lived
Yeah,
in the
right.
house full time. Miss Ethel lived there for the last 40 years, and it was her home.
We'll be videoing the vents from that weekend.
Yes.
Is that what you just answered? No.
Yes. We
Well,
will. We
I
won't,
think
like,
we're going to be busy, honestly.
You'll see clips of the weekend, probably more than likely. What's the restoration time frame? Mark's asking again for people who have called it.
Brett's saying.
Brett, see, you're trying to make a liar of me. I don't think it
It's
was.
supposed to be one of the oldest ones.
It is one of the oldest, but I don't think that was the one that it's Tahada. I don't think that's the one, Brett. Let's see.
Somebody asked earlier too, they said they couldn't come to this one, want to do it again in November. We will definitely be having events regularly.
That's part of our job at Auburn.
Right. Yeah.
Events.
And
like we have something else coming up.
They may not all be at Hope Farm, but maybe we'll have opportunity to come see the progress.
Yes,
of Hope
for
Farm.
sure. Yes.
But we'll be having things at Auburn. We'll be having more tours. We'll be having more weekends like that. So definitely plan. We want this to be a community. We want you guys to make friends with each other when you're at these events. If you're coming alone,
big family.
we want you to make friends that you can't wait to see at the next one, honestly.
Absolutely.
And
it's like summer camp.
Yeah, we want exactly. Hopefully not every time in the summer, in the heat of the summer. Yeah, this one kind of just happened to happen in August.
We wanted to show you Hope Farm before we got started. This is probably our one chance to show you one of our projects before anything happens. So we kind of had to make that determination. Do we go ahead and do it now, or do we wait? And if we wait, we're going to be moving forward. To answer your question, Mark, time frame, Kevin mentioned earlier, we're thinking at least 2 years, which means probably 4. Truly.
I hope not.
Yeah, right.
I hope not. Well,
I do want to say, so something I want to say, and I'll make sure we're trying to get all these questions. If we've missed your question, it is not intentional. We just didn't see it. So if you didn't get your question answered, go ahead and re-ask it. But one thing I want to say about this restoration, everybody's looking at this and going, oh my gosh, that's so much work. It's so crazy. It's just the same. It's the same thing we do all the time. Every time we go into a restoration, we have to put in all new wiring. We have to put in all new plumbing. Almost every wall in Pearl is new, either drywall or plaster. In Pearl, we had to go in and do half a new foundation and all new repointing on all of her piers. We're not going to have to do that in this house. So while it looks horrible, it's the same work that we do all the time. There's a little more of it because the structure's so big.
It's bigger project, yes. Well, I mean, it's not bigger than Louise, really, but it does. Louise had a roof structure. This doesn't have a roof structure. That's the biggest thing. Well, she needed.
He'd forgotten that we did a lot of work to the roof structure until we were looking back at the photos. But we had to do a lot.
I remembered some things as I put this video together. Was the name always Hope Farm? The name Hope Farm progressed, I think, over the last 8 years.
I think Catherine is the one who named it Hope Farm. They took two names. It was Hope Villa and something farm that had it had been known by both names, and they combined them to make it Hope Farm.
But how perfect is it?
Yes, it's the best. Google says King's Tavern. It might have been King's Tavern.
Oh, it was one of the oldest.
That he said was the other one, but we were talking houses, and what you have to remember is King's Tavern is not a house, never been a house. So I asked her specifically for houses. So I can't remember. It doesn't seem like he said King's Tavern, but maybe he did. But something cool about King's Tavern and Hope Farm is their parlors, their main parlors. So the earliest part of their structure are exactly the same dimensions, which I think is really cool for somebody like me. Really exciting.
Well, somebody said February is always a good time to get out of, I think, Ohio or the Midwest. And I'm like, yeah, we will definitely be having some, January, February events for all of you in the north to come down to the warm southern states.
Because I think I put a jacket on one time.
Oh, yeah.
In Natchez.
The weather is fantastic.
And I put a little scarf around my neck. And then we took the dogs for a walk at 9:00 at night. Things that you would never do in, say, Minnesota at 9:00 at night in January and February. Like, we thought it was so cold because it got really cold for 3 or 4 days.
And that's, we love warmer weather. So
anything else, guys?
Go get your capes on. Stay.
Probably more like our gloves and really dirty clothes.
Yeah, it's 100 in Arkansas today too.
I've said the temperature in Arkansas this week, you walk outside, the thermostat just reads hell. That's what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should wrap it up. What do you think?
Okay.
It's right at an hour.
Yeah.
So
I could sit here all night long and
352 people. Thank you guys all for being here, and thank you for your support. The comments today have been overwhelming and really, really supportive. So helpful to us and give us the energy. Like you said, where do you get that energy? I guess that's where we get it.
From this.
So thank you for supporting us and following along, and for all of you that have committed to come to the weekend.
I'm so excited.
And we're so excited to meet you all. And thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
Thanks a lot. Subscribe,
Stay
follow,
tuned.
share
It's
us with
gonna
your
be fun.
friends. This is basically something. Oh, I did notice earlier that somebody said, "Is this what you do for a living?" It is now, and the only way we can afford to do it for a living is because of YouTube. So share the channel with your friends, and that will be so awesome.
Yes, and occasionally buy one of the things we're pushing on you. So thanks a lot, guys. We're going to end it here. If you came in halfway, go back and watch the first, and you'll catch.
We'll save it. You'll be able to see the rest of it.
Thanks.
Bye, friends. Love you guys. See